On my final pilgrimage to Paris, on a Sunday afternoon, I sought out the Louvre. Almost as a matter of ritual, I skirted the crowds worshiping Leonardo's Lisa Gherardini del Giocondo. In an obscure gallery, one most visitors pass through unseeing. A canvas detained me. Ari Scheffer's Francesca da Rimini and Paolo Malatesta. The lovers, bound to one another in the second circle of hell, suspended in an infinite drift, borne by a wind that denies repose. The painting is terrifying, yet it somehow consoled me. That paradox is the subject of these lines. In 1275, Francesca da Rimini was surrendered to Giovanni Malatesta in one of those transactional alliances by which the great houses of Italy confounded the geometries of power and desire. Posterity would remember him as Gianciotto the Lame. Boccaccio tells us that Francesca was deceived. She had been led to believe her hand was destined to Paolo Malatesta, Gianciotto's younger brother, renowned for his beauty. At the altar, she found herself joined to Gianciotto when reversal was no longer possible. In time, Francesca and Paolo fell in love. In Dante's Inferno, their transgression began while reading the story of Lancelot and Guinevere. Francesca recounts the moment of surrender to Dante. One day, for our delight, we read of Lancelot, captive of love. We were alone, and without suspicion. Oft times our eyes met over the page, and our cheeks grew pale, but one passage conquered us. When we read of that fated kiss, he who shall never part from me, kissed my trembling lips. That book, that author, were love's accomplices. That day, we read no more. Sometime in the early 1280s, Gianciotto discovered the betrayal. In a paroxysm of rage, he slew them both with his own hands. The laws of the time recognized the slaughter as defense of honor. Gianciotto was never punished. He resumed his political life and died, unremarkably, in 1304. Dante, writing scarcely a generation later, immortalized the lovers in his Inferno. He places them in the second circle, among the lustful. There they are not broken by fire or iron, but swept endlessly by violent winds, carried like starlings in winter flight. In life they exchanged reason for passion. In death they yield to motion without rest. Witnessing the lover's fate, Dante is so overcome with pity that he collapses. While thus one spirit spoke, the other wept so sorely that, heart-struck with compassion, I fainted as if dying and fell like a dead body to the ground. Dante's hell is horrifying not because it is chaotic, but because it is exact. Each sin reveals, in death, the logic it denied in life. The sowers of discord are themselves unsown by blades. The soothsayers, who sought to see too far ahead, walk with their heads twisted backward. The misers roll their sins as weights in futile arcs. The traitors are fixed in the ice at the world's center. There, farthest from celestial warmth, Satan himself stands frozen. Medieval cosmologists imagined hell beneath our feet, vast, precise, carved in concentric circles, the funnel narrowing as sin intensifies, sound, light, motion, and freedom diminishing with each descent toward the Earth's core. And yet, that perfection collapses with Dante in Canto 5. His empathy is startling precisely because it occurs in a poem that venerates retribution. Nothing in the logic of the Inferno anticipates it. No circle makes room for compassion. The system is inescapable. And yet, at the sight of the lovers, the poet's body fails. Not as a refutation of justice, but something more prescient, an intuition of forgiveness. In 1308, Dante lacked a theology capable of housing that intuition. He could architect hell with extraordinary clarity, but his medieval imagination could not yet map the geography of mercy. Separated from Dante by a vast ocean of water and time, Joseph Smith would articulate that mercy in a vision of the afterlife in 1832. There, the narrowing funnels of despair are inverted into 3 concentric degrees of glory, a celestial architecture in which redemption extends almost universally. Standing before Scheffer's canvas that Sunday afternoon, that vision dissolved my paradox. Francesca no longer belonged to the relentless wind that once bore her. The storm was Dante's. The judgment was medieval. Redemption, perhaps, had already occurred.